The movie starts with a man named Michael, who is a famous bodyguard. Important people from around the world hire him because he is very good at his job. Michael lives in a very nice house because he earns a lot of money. He lives with his girlfriend, Amelia, who works for Interpol. She is smart and capable. One day, Michael gets a job to take a rich Japanese businessman named Takashi Kurosawa to the airport. This job is normal for Michael. He does this kind of work all the time. When they get to the airport, Michael stays with Takashi until he gets on his private plane. But then, something bad happens. Takashi is shot on the plane. This shocks Michael because it is the first time he has failed to protect someone. He feels sad and worried about what went wrong. 2 years later, things are different for Michael. After his failure, his career as a top bodyguard has suffered. Now, he only works for people who are not very rich. Despite this, Michael is still very good at handling enemies. Now, the story moves to Russia. We meet a former president named Dukovich, who is very dangerous. He visits a professor's house. This professor used to speak out against Dukovich when he was president. Because the professor has been critical of him, Dukovich does something terrible. He kills the professor's son and wife in front of him. This is to scare the professor so he will stop speaking against Dukovich. The professor has also been talking about Dukovich's crimes in international court. A few days later, the determined professor still couldn't accept what Dukovich had done. He was firm in his mission to bring Dukovich to the international court in the Netherlands. Outside the courthouse, a large crowd gathered, all demanding Dukovich's arrest and the death penalty for his actions. Inside the courtroom, the professor was visibly upset and crying. He knew he might lose the trial because there were no eyewitnesses to testify against Dukovich. It was a tough situation. However, the judge decided to temporarily stop the trial, giving the professor more time to find witnesses who could talk about all of Dukovich's crimes. The scene shifts to England, where we meet a prisoner named Darius. He is an important witness to the crimes committed by Dukovich, the former Russian president. Darius is not just an ordinary prisoner. He is actually a highly skilled hitman who was once hired by Dukovich. The Interpol officials, who are good friends of the professor, come up with a plan. They approach Darius and offer him a deal. If he agrees to be a witness in court and testify against Dukovich, they will release his wife, who is also imprisoned in the Netherlands. It is a tough decision for Darius because if he refuses, neither he nor his wife will ever be set free. After much thought, Darius eventually agrees to the Interpol officials' request. He decides to be a witness and play a crucial role in bringing Dukovich to justice. It is a risky move, but he is willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. In the next scenes, we see Michael's girlfriend, Amelia, who is given the task by her boss to take Darius to the Netherlands immediately. Amelia and her team set out with Darius to make their way to the Netherlands. However, during the journey, they are attacked. The attackers are Dukovich's men, sent to kill Darius so he can't testify at the trial. During the intense fight, Darius manages to free himself from the handcuffs and joins the fight to help Amelia's team. Unfortunately, he gets shot in the leg. Amelia quickly gets him to safety in a nearby safe house. At the safe house, Amelia gets a call from Interpol officials, but Darius tells her not to answer it. He thinks one of the Interpol members might be betraying them by working with Dukovich. Instead, Darius advises Amelia to get help from someone outside of Interpol. Amelia then remembers her ex-boyfriend, Michael, who might be able to help them. The only problem is that Amelia and Michael broke up 2 years ago, so she feels unsure about asking him for help. Despite their past, Amelia realizes that Michael might be their best chance in this critical situation. She knows he's skilled and trustworthy. Now, Amelia must decide if she should contact her ex-boyfriend, knowing their history could make things complicated. In the end, Amelia gathers the courage to contact Michael and ask for his help. She tells him that if he refuses, she will report him as an illegal bodyguard, revealing that he has been working without proper authorization. But she also gives him a tempting offer. If Michael agrees to help and successfully takes Darius to the Netherlands, his declining bodyguard status will be restored, and he will have the chance to work for important clients again. Michael agrees to help Amelia, understanding how serious the situation is and the benefits of helping Darius. He quickly goes to Amelia's location without any hesitation. Meanwhile, Darius contacts his wife and tells her the good news that she will soon be released from prison. When Michael arrives, he immediately confronts Amelia about their breakup. He accuses her of being involved in the murder of Takashi Kurosawa at the beginning of the movie. Amelia strongly denies any involvement and insists she had nothing to do with it. Despite her denial, the accusations were enough to break their relationship. Michael then sees Darius. He is shocked to find out that the person he was supposed to help is Darius. They start arguing immediately. It turns out Michael and Darius are enemies. In the past, Michael was always the bodyguard protecting the people Darius wanted to target, ruining Darius's plans. During their intense fight, Darius's injured leg gets worse, putting him at a disadvantage. Eventually, Michael gains the upper hand and wins the fight. The scene shifts to the Netherlands, where Amelia's boss at Interpol is shown visiting Dukovic. It's revealed that the traitor within Interpol is Amelia's own boss, who had sent her to the Netherlands. The boss goes to collect the money Dukovic promised in exchange for the information he leaked. However, instead of receiving payment, Dukovic angrily stabs the boss's hand. Dukovic is furious that Darius is still alive and demands the boss capture Darius immediately and kill him. Dukovic threatens the boss, saying that if he fails, he will suffer the consequences. After getting his wounded arm treated, the boss contacts his partner at Interpol to discuss how to capture Darius. The boss overhears his subordinates discussing the current whereabouts of Darius and Amelia, who are hiding in a safe house. Realizing the importance of this information, the boss immediately contacts Dukovic and tells him the location of Darius. This betrayal puts Darius and Amelia in grave danger because Dukovic now knows where they are. Back with Darius, he realizes the outcome of his previous fight with Michael. As Michael opens the window, they see that corrupt Interpol agents hired by Dukovic are surrounding the building. Darius and Michael realize they must work together to fight them off. Meanwhile, Amelia heads to headquarters to share all the crucial information. With too many enemies to face, Darius and Michael decide to escape by going to the top of the building. Once there, Darius jumps off the building, while Michael opts for a slower descent. Afterward, they quickly get into a car and leave the scene, heading to the Netherlands. During the drive, Michael asks Darius how he got captured. Darius reveals that it was because of a woman. While he was on a mission to assassinate someone, he received news that his wife was seriously ill. However, it was a trap set up by Interpol to capture him. Held at gunpoint, Darius couldn't escape and has been detained along with his wife ever since. As they spend time together during the journey, Darius and Michael start to get along better and try to put their past disagreements behind them. The situation has brought them closer as they navigate through these life-threatening circumstances. Later, Darius asks Michael to pull over for a moment because he needs to urinate. As they were about to continue their journey, Dukovic's men and the corrupt Interpol agents suddenly ambush them. Despite the surprise attack, Darius and Michael fought back fiercely and defeated all their attackers. However, their car was hit in the fuel tank during the shootout and exploded, leaving them without a vehicle. Desperate to keep going, Michael planned to use the car belonging to Dukovic's men, but it also got destroyed by a spark from their previous car explosion. With no other choice, they had to continue on foot and hope to hitch a ride from a passing car on the road. Eventually, in the morning, Darius and Michael reach the port dock where they plan to travel to the Netherlands by sea. Their long journey brings them to their destination. They arrive in the Netherlands, and Michael takes Darius to his old house for a short break. A few hours later, Darius is seen buying flowers, while Michael stays vigilant from a distance, wearing a helmet to protect Darius discreetly. However, Dukovic's men have already found out where Darius is and are planning to kill him. Michael knows about the danger and takes out some of Dukovic's men to keep Darius safe. He continues to protect Darius from behind, ready to help if needed. Darius buys his wife's favorite flower and goes to the top of a building. He places the flower there so that his wife can see it from her cell, showing his love and hope that she will be released soon. After their time on the rooftop, Darius asks Michael why he broke up with Amelia. Michael explains that he thought Amelia was involved in the shooting of Takashi Kurosawa, which hurt his reputation as a top bodyguard. He felt betrayed, and important clients stopped hiring him. However, Darius laughs when he hears Michael's explanation. He reveals that he was the one who shot Takashi Kurosawa, not Amelia. Amelia had nothing to do with it. Learning the truth, Michael feels confused and realizes he wrongly accused Amelia, leading to their breakup. Feeling upset and angry, Michael punches Darius and walks away. He drinks alcohol to drown his sorrows, venting his frustrations incoherently. As Darius tries to talk to Michael, Dukovic's men suddenly attack him. Michael, still angry with Darius, doesn't help and leaves him to face the attackers alone, even though the fight is happening right behind him. In that moment, Michael thinks of Amelia and doesn't want her to be disappointed in him again. He realizes he can't abandon Darius and reluctantly decides to help him, despite still being angry. When Darius runs from the many men working for Dukovic, Michael comes to the rescue. He uses his motorbike to shield Darius from harm. Even though the situation is intense, Michael manages to protect Darius and keep him safe. However, in the process of saving Darius, Michael's identity as his bodyguard is revealed to Dukovic's men. As a result, Michael is captured and taken to their headquarters, where they plan to torture him for information. Just as the torture is about to begin, Darius makes a dramatic entrance and single-handedly defeats all of Dukovic's men, saving Michael. With his enemies defeated, Darius helps Michael into a car, and they continue their journey to the court. During their journey, Michael calls Amelia and apologizes for wrongly accusing her. He admits his mistakes and tries to convince her to come back. The tension between them starts to ease as Michael opens up about his regrets. However, their reunion is short-lived as Dukovic's men attack again. Darius and Michael are forced to split up to fight them. They use their skills to defeat the attackers. After successfully dealing with the attackers, Darius quickly regroups with Michael, and they head towards the court. In court, the trial is about to end with only 5 minutes left. The stakes are incredibly high as Darius must arrive in time. Otherwise, Dukovic might be found not guilty and escape justice. Thankfully, Darius and Michael manage to reach the court just as the trial is about to close, barely making it in time. As Darius takes the stand, Dukovic looks surprised by his sudden arrival and testimony. With a determined voice, Darius starts revealing the evils committed by Dukovic. He recounts an unsettling incident when Dukovic personally invited him to the palace with a sinister request to assassinate his political opponents. Despite the tempting offer, Darius, guided by his conscience, refused the job as he was already overwhelmed with work. Darius goes on to reveal an even darker truth about Dukovic's brutal actions. He describes a horrifying massacre of a village whose residents refused to support the former president. This cold-hearted act shows the extent of Dukovic's cruelty and abuse of power. To prove his claims and ensure justice is served, Darius presents photographic evidence he had carefully prepared. As the photos are shown, it becomes clear they contain strong proof of all the crimes committed by Dukovic. As the trial unfolds, Amelia, who is also in the courtroom, notices her boss unexpectedly leaving. Suspicious of his actions, Amelia decides to follow him quietly. With determination and skill, she manages to track down her boss and confront him. To her dismay, Amelia discovers that her boss has indeed conspired with Dukovic. Shocked by this and driven by a sense of justice, Amelia takes action and arrests her corrupt superior. She makes sure he is taken into custody for his part in the plot. Amelia's quick thinking and dedication to the truth are crucial in exposing the conspiracy and bringing those responsible to justice. Her actions further reveal the deep corruption within Interpol and its ties to Dukovic's crimes. In a desperate attempt to avoid imprisonment and the death sentence, Dukovic resorts to a final, drastic measure, causing chaos in the court building. A large car suddenly arrives, and a warlike situation erupts within the court premises. During the chaos, Michael is shot and seriously injured in the crossfire. At the same time, Dukovic seizes the chance to escape and heads to the top of the building, intending to flee via a waiting helicopter. However, Darius is determined not to let him get away with his crimes. A thrilling chase begins as Darius follows Dukovic to the rooftop. He faces a barrage of bullets and a powerful explosion, but he keeps going. Dukovic's men, thinking Darius is dead, gather around the helicopter to help their leader escape. With only Darius and Dukovic left, the final confrontation happens. In a moment of intense resolve, Darius takes aim and shoots, ending Dukovic's reign of terror. After Dukovic's downfall, his body lies surrounded by the families of his victims, who express their anger and disgust towards him. Meanwhile, Michael is rescued and gets medical attention for his gunshot wound. As for Darius, he fulfills his part of the deal and willingly returns to an Interpol prison. In return for his cooperation, Interpol keeps their promise and releases Darius' wife from her confinement in a Dutch prison. However, a few weeks later, news breaks out that Darius has escaped from prison. Despite being a fugitive, he is seen reunited with his wife, and the two embrace, finally free from their past captivity. The movie ends with a sense of redemption and justice. Dukovic's tyranny has been stopped, and those who suffered because of him find closure. Darius and his wife are reunited, and despite the challenges they faced, they have found a way to be together again. So the moral of the story is, even if you're a top-notch bodyguard or a notorious hitman, your love life and old grudges will always find a way to mess up your day.